Codebreakers find sex, Arctic dispatches in 200-year-old encrypted newspaper ads. A group of cryptography enthusiasts have been able to crack the code of a series of encrypted newspaper ads linked to a rescue expedition in 1850. Between 1850 and 1855, someone published a series of unusual ads in the British newspaper, The Times. They were made up of a series of seemingly random letters, apparently gobbledygook. Almost 200 years later, a group of codebreakers has finally been able to decrypt some of them and read what they said, discovering that they were actually encrypted messages from a rescue expedition in the Arctic Ocean. We could potentially call this the first known secure global communication system in the 1800s. Ilanka Dunin, one of the cryptography enthusiasts who decrypted the messages, said during a talk at the Hackers on Planet Earth conference in Queens on Saturday. The story of the ads starts in 1845, when explorer Lord John Franklin set out from England on an expedition with two warships called Terror and Erebus, with the goal of finding the Northwest Passage, a sea route that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, the faster way to get from England to India and the rest of Asia. 3 years later, Franklin and his 129 men vanished and were never heard from again. In 1850, the English naval officer Richard Collinson was sent to the Canadian Arctic in hopes of finding any traces of the Franklin expedition, or at least figuring out what happened to the explorer and his ships. Collinson's ultimately failed expedition lasted from 1850 to 1855, exactly the same time period of the encrypted ads published in the Times. Was there a relationship between the encrypted ad and Northwest Passage, or the Franklin expedition? Dunin asked during the talk. With that working hypothesis, Dunin, along with journalist A.J. Jacobs and cryptography expert Klaus Schmepp, started analyzing the ads in an attempt to figure out the encryption method, which would allow them to decrypt it and uncover their meaning.